has been an awakening. Have you felt it? Have you felt it?
The round Earth deception has been exposed. Globe deniers are numbering in the millions. Thousands are waking up daily. And you're in luck. It's another Truth Tuesday, and that means it's time for Globe Lie Radio with your hosts, Paul on the Plane.
Our world exists and works much differently than what is preached in our schools and the mainstream media.
And Roxanne, the globalist denier.
I can bet my life today that we've been taught a lie. We've been taught a model as if it's fact, backed up by propaganda.
2 hours of Globe Lie Radio is headed your way, right here, right now. Hey, don't be the last one to figure it out.
You don't see the curvature of the Earth. That stuff is flat.
Now, here are your hosts, Paul on the Plane and Roxanne, the globalist denier.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the latest edition of Globe Lie Radio. I am your host, Paul on the Plane. Unfortunately, Roxanne couldn't be with us tonight as she was helping out with the Globe Lie Euro Tour, which is obviously a completely valid excuse for missing the show. We love you, Roxanne. Appreciate your dedication to spreading the truth. We'll look forward to catching up with you next week. Meanwhile, it's another Truth Tuesday here on TFR, and that means it's time for Globe Lie Radio, where each and every week we continue to expose the Globe Lie and cover the greatest awakening in modern history, that our existence, our realm, it's flat and it's motionless. This show has been pre-recorded because, it's the middle of the night for our guest, and I'm also on holiday in Florida as this show airs. But don't you dare go anywhere, because we have some very special surprises tonight for you with our very, very, very special guest. And man, I've been looking forward to this show for a long time. So, without further ado, let's get right to our main event, and that is, I know you guys have been waiting to hear from this guy. You know him, you love him, he's such a talented songwriter, musician, truth seeker, all-around great guy, and you gotta love this guy's style. Ladies and gentlemen, please give it up for Flat Earth Man. Are you there, sir?
I am indeed, Paul. What an honor. Thanks a lot, man. The intro was pretty cool, man. I don't know what to say about that, but yeah, thanks for having me on, man. I really appreciate it. I love your work, man.
Well, the feeling is mutual, sir. You have been absolutely such a treasure to the community, and the stuff that you've been producing, and has just been let's just say there's nothing like you. And I know you and I were chatting before the show started. You have got. Let's start out right away with the surprise that you've got here for the first segment. I know we're going to be hearing some exclusive stuff tonight, and we're going to talk more about that later. But let's get right to the first surprise that you have for us. And should we just go right into that and let you take it from right off the top here?
Okay, man. Well, I got a full house here. I got my band here, and we're gonna do some acoustic stuff for you. A little bit of... Well, actually, let me go ahead and introduce my Flat Earth Band. Okay, first up, we got Johnny Level on the piano. Say hi, Johnny. Don't wave your hand, man. They can't see you. This is radio. Play something, man. There you go. Man, can he play the piano, but he ain't the brightest. We got Flat Earl over here, gonna give you some percussion.
What's going on?
Give me some of those bongos, man. And over here to my left, we have Plain Andy on acoustic bass. Say hi.
Hi, everybody.
Play something.
How's that?
Thanks, Andy. Something not quite right about that boy. We got Davey on harmonica, another Globe denier.
We see too far.
I know, just play something, man. And of course, there's me, the Flat Earth Man, on acoustic guitar. Okay, boys, and Andy, let's make it good for Paul and Roxanne. 1, 2, 3, 4. I remember when I learned in school about gravity.
It was so cool. I had a teacher that knew it all. She taught me how water could stick to a ball, how buildings stick to the underside of a ball that spins like a carousel ride. Man, it all sounded crazy to me, but I love learning about gravity. I couldn't wait to tell my dad about the amazing day that I had. He picked me up, I was bursting with pride. He opened up the door and I jumped inside. He smiled at me and said, "How was your day?" I said, "Dad, I was blown away, 'cause I learned about this magical thing, but it's kinda got my head to spin. I learned about this Newton guy. When an apple fell on his head, he surmised that there must be a force that's pulling it down, and everything's being sucked to the ground. A force that sticks us all to this ball. The people, the buildings, the oceans and all." So it was written in history. Newton had discovered gravity. Well, he just looked at me and said, "Don't believe in gravity. No, don't believe in fantasy. Don't believe, 'cause a theory's all it is. It's never been proven, but they teach it to the kids. Yes, they do." Well, my dad felt a little bit sad for me when I mentioned that word gravity. He said, "Have a little independent thought. Question what you just been taught. I mean, how the hell can a ball that spins make a force so strong that sucks everything in, yet birds and insects fly unaffected? Gravity must be so selective. Think about it logically, 'cause that don't make no sense to me. You gotta question all those preachers preach, question all those teachers teach. You see, gravity is just a bunch of bull. That Newton guy's just a lying fool. These guys like Newton know they shouldn't be trusted. Their Freemasonic lies have been busted. In fact, my boy, it's density, and that's why things fall down, you see. An object always falls to the ground if it's heavier than the air that surrounds. If it's lighter than air, then it'll rise. It'll keep on floating up to the skies. That's what's known as buoyancy, and that makes more sense than gravity. So let me hear you sing it one more time, y'all. Don't believe in gravity, no. Don't believe in fantasy. Don't believe it, no. Don't believe, 'cause a theory's all it is. It's never been proven, but they teach it to the kids. Yeah. Listen up. He said, "I'm sorry, son, for bursting your bubble, but that kind of thinking can get you in trouble. These theories they try to put in your head, it's all just pseudoscience." He said, "They'll have you believing in all kinds of crap. That gravity nonsense belongs in the trash. Believe me when I say to you, there ain't no gravity, and that's the truth." Well, my daddy made me think that day. He made me think in a different way. I did some thinking for myself. I put that theory back on the shelf. That gravity crap is indoctrination, not truthful, trusted information. People need to wake up and see there ain't no such thing as gravity. Last time, people, let me hear you sing. Don't believe in gravity. Don't believe in fantasy. Don't believe, 'cause a theory's all it is. It's never been proven, but they teach it to the kids. One more there, come on. Don't believe in gravity. Don't believe in fantasy. No, don't believe, 'cause a theory's all it is. It's never been proven, but they teach it to the kids. Yeah.
Absolutely wonderful. I had no idea, Flat Earth Man, that you had the whole band in the house tonight. That was amazing. Thank you.
Thanks, man.
Thank you so much, boy. Tell all the boys we appreciate them and love them. That was amazing. First time we've ever heard that in an acoustic version. That was absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, man, I'm out of breath now, man. Thanks. Hey, put that down, man. Put that thing down. Shush, we're on the radio, man. Shush. Sorry, man. These guys, they just don't know how to behave themselves. But thanks, man. Yeah, it works well, huh?
Well, oh man, that was awesome. That was awesome. Hey guys, listen, everybody listening, that's the first time we've heard the acoustic version of Don't Believe in Gravity. That was awesome. That was simply beautiful. Yeah, and tell the guys again, thank you so much. And hey, don't worry about it. You know, they're so talented, all your guys, you know, hey, it doesn't matter if it's live radio or not. They're awesome. We appreciate them.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Well, shall we reveal the man behind the music?
Oh, I guess so. Why not?
Ladies and gentlemen, Flat Earth Man is a character. And some people probably know that already. A character. And our guest tonight is Alex Michael. He is known as the conspiracy music guru. Flat Earth Man is his beloved character. So we'll now welcome to the show the man behind the music, Alex Michael. How you doing, brother?
I'm good, man. Thanks for having me on. Thanks for entertaining my little what's the word? What's the name of your character? Thank you for entertaining the character there. Yeah, I mean it's a character that I hid behind originally because when you first wake up to the flat Earth reality, and it was like I remember saying to my wife, "This is the Earth's flat. The Earth's flat. I can't tell anyone, but I think the Earth's flat. There's no way I'm gonna. I wanted to make music about it, but not as myself, because I didn't want my family seeing me singing stuff about flat Earth. They'll think I've lost the plot. So I thought, okay, I'll just
put on a crazy voice and hide behind this guy and put a hat on and put some shades on. And
that's when Flat Earth Man was born right there. So who'd have thought it?
Wow. And there was a lot of people that, and probably me included, the first time we were exposed to your music, it was as Flat Earth Man. And then when we heard your real voice, the normal voice, we were like, no way, that can't be the same guy. Did you get that a lot?
All the time, especially in Denver. I had no idea how convincing that accent was, because I thought there's no way that people are going to buy that I'm American. It was just how I thought Americans sounded. It's like a real stereotypical Texas accent. It's like, I don't know, man, hey man, it's just like that. And I just thought there's no way that that's convincing but I'll do it anyway. And then people were like, so convinced. The amount of people I met in Denver that were like, I had no idea you were Australian. I'm like, no, I'm not Australian. I'm English, because for some reason Americans think an English accent sounds like an Aussie accent. So I had to correct people, but it was like, wow, I had no idea it was okay. You did that so well. So if I was fooling, not that it was my intention to fool people, but if they were, fooled into thinking this was a real guy and a real accent, then that's a compliment, I guess. I must have, done it pretty well. But it's not the first time I've heard that. It's quite strange.
Yeah, well, we Americans aren't really good unless we have a trained ear distinguishing between different, accents around the world. So I'm guilty of that myself. But yeah, I obviously get exposed to your music, and it was absolutely wonderful and so funny. And probably saw your music videos, because you produced the awesome visuals that went along with them, and seeing all of that stuff. And then when I found out later, or heard your real voice, and I think it was leading up to the Denver conference that you and I were on a couple of shows together, and I heard what you sounded like, in just everyday real life, and I was like, that is really cool. That is really cool. Hell, he was able to just get into that character and produce that. So absolutely wonderful. You've been such a huge pillar of this community because of your musical talents, and I wanted to spend the first segment here. And first of all, let's let everybody know that's listening that each of the segments tonight, you're going to hear something new, so never before heard. I know in the second segment, the third segment, you've got some other surprises for us, some other acoustic versions of some of your classics, and then what we're building up to, ladies and gentlemen, you're going to want to stick around for the entire show, because in the fourth segment tonight, the last segment of the show tonight, you're going to hear for the very first time Alex's brand new single. It's going to be the worldwide release of a song called Look Up. And don't you dare miss it, because it is amazing. And I know you've got some visuals to go with it that you're going to release on your channel later on, kind of a preview. And then we're going to talk about how people can get a hold of this brand new track. But before we get to that, I want to spend the rest of the segment here talking a little bit more about the man behind the music. For people that haven't heard your story, obviously this always begs the question when we have somebody on the show. What was the thing? What happened? How did you wake up to the Globe Lie?
Well, my story is quite similar to a lot of others. Started with 9/11. I remember the day I was in my recording studio and I was making ringtones, and I had a guy come in the studio while I was making some ringtones, because that's what I do for a living. That's my bread and butter. That's how I pay the bills. And a guy come in and he showed me a video on 9/11. I think it was the supposed plane that hit the Pentagon. It was just like a few frames, looked like a missile. And I was like, and I still remember it, thinking, well, that's suspicious, don't you think? And I was thinking, wow, so I was immediately hooked just by that video, and I started to research the 9/11 conspiracy. And then I came across people like Alex Jones, and it was the first time I'd heard people talk like that against the government, like this revolutionary. I mean, no matter what you think of Alex Jones, I mean, I obviously have a different opinion of him now, but he was essential to my awakening. I'd never heard people talk like that against the government. It was when I had sleepless nights after that, realizing that, holy shit, there is a government out there that's completely evil. I hadn't thought like that at all. That wasn't a part of my thinking. I just thought the governments were doing the best that they could. I had no idea. Wasn't even thinking that way. But 9/11 was definitely the turning point for me. And as soon as I found out that the narrative of that event was absolute nonsense, I got the bug. I started to search for video, anything with Illuminati and New World Order, and that could, these phrases were given to me by Alex Jones, the Illuminati, the Illuminati, and I was like, oh, but New World Order. I'm just researching, and then obviously I found out some deeply disturbing things, and that was in 2012 when I had my sort of 9/11 awakening, and it just led me, further and further and further down the rabbit hole until you get to a thing called flat Earth, which at the time was ridiculous. Who believes in that nonsense? And I remember them coming up in my feed, flat Earth this, flat Earth, and I thought, that's ridiculous. We've refused to click on any of those videos because it's nonsense. Anyone that believes that the Earth is flat is an idiot. That was my thinking at the time. But eventually I clicked on a video, and the title of the video was "They Are Hiding God with the Biggest Secret." I thought, oh, that's intriguing. And it happened to be Mark Sargent's Flat Earth Clues, but somebody had re-uploaded it and changed the title. Didn't put flat Earth, which was a clever thing to do, actually. And I watched that, and after watching that, I was like, oh, okay, right. Oh my God, that really, really resonated with me, because it's like, I'd learned about all the other lies, the fluoridation of what's going on with the chemtrails and vaccinations and all these other things. So it was when I saw the flat Earth information from Mark Sargent, I was like, holy crap. And I was just addicted. And that was when I started, finding ODD stuff and Eric Dubay and everybody else. And it was just like, for a good 6 months, it was very difficult to get me away from the PC. I was just, drinking it in. I was just this sponge, just drinking all the information. And it was just, it was amazing to me. And because I'm a musician and I'm a creative, it gave me this huge creative burst. It's a musician's dream, really, because before all of that, I was singing in pubs, love songs and cover songs and all that, just like the same tepid stuff that you hear on the radio. And now I'd learned about flat Earth, like great gravity hoax, satellites, the IS, it was just all of this stuff I was learning. It was like, oh my God, I've got to write songs about this, and here I am. That was the Flat Earth Awakening was in 2016, May of 2016. I still remember the month. And here I am, 2.5 years late. No, more than that. Are we 3.5 years? What are we, 2000? Yeah, blimey. So, yeah, and I had no idea I'd be making an album on the subject. But, that's what happened. So, and here we are.
Here we are. You said something, I think, profound, and it seems to be a common theme, when you first get exposed to that subject, and maybe not the subject of the shape of the world, but some of these other things like 9/11 or chemtrails, what have you. But the initial reaction is, if people up to that point of their lives still trust the government at some level, that hey, yeah, it's imperfect because there's people involved, but they still have our best interests. That maybe is the biggest hump that people have to get over, is that that there's evil in the world, that there is truly evil that exists. And for a lot of people, that ruins their entire paradigm, and they know it, and they don't want to go there because they know that it's going to change the way they see everything, and it's very depressing, and they feel oppressed, and all of these things. a lot of people don't even want to go there. And, there's something maybe inside certain people, or they're at a certain stage of their life where they're able to say, all right, I'm going to let myself go there knowing that I'm not going to like what I'm going to see, but the truth is still more important than my personal feelings. And that's just kind of how I see it. What do you think about that?
Yeah, completely. That hump that you talk about, getting over that. I'd always knew that there was something wrong it's like that line in The Matrix. It's like a splinter in your mind driving you mad. You know there's something wrong in the world, but you can't quite put your finger on it. You feel it when you pay your taxes, when you go to church, when you go to work. If that's how I felt. I knew there was something wrong with the world. Why is life so tough? Why is it so difficult to survive? And I knew there was something wrong. So when I first approached that hump, and it was like, right now I finally had answers. When Alex Jones was talking the way he was, I finally had answers. I knew why life was so difficult. It's not the system is designed that way. That was when it clicked for me. It's designed that way, and that's when I first understood evil. And I wanted to approach that hump because I knew there was answers there, and that's why I was so kind of obsessed almost by looking at the information, because it finally gave me answers as to why the world was so screwed, man. But it was a tough time that time, because it's like, again, I refer to The Matrix. It's all I'm offering is the truth. The truth of the real world is pretty tough to swallow. But once you get over that, you get to a lighter side and to a point of flat Earth where it's real enlightenment. That's how I feel at the moment. I would not change it for the world.
Yeah, and I really like that approach, because and we all have to kind of go through those stages, of almost like, grief and denial, and we all go through those things as we're exploring the truth. But I think what's so contagious about you specifically as an artist and the medium that you work in is that you've been able to turn this to a positive, and you do a fun spin, if you will, on the subject. And we're talking specifically about your first album, the Flat Earth Man and that sort of thing. We're going to talk about the work that you've done since, because it's truly special stuff that you've been creating since. But and I think that has a lot to do with it says a lot about who you are as a person, about your character. You are generally positive by nature, and so once you got through that, what you say, like about 6 months or so of digesting this and thinking and watching and learning and that sort of thing. But what kind of came out of that, your creative burst, as you called it, was making music about this subject, about the flat Earth versus the globe Earth and all the lies and deception, and being able to turn that into something pleasurable to listen to, something fun, something humorous, and making light of the subject. And I'm going to guess that that's the type of guy you are. You are able to, and maybe in tough situations, look at the positive side and interject a little humor. Am I right?
Yeah, I was always the joker at school. I was always the one being told off for not paying attention. School didn't ever resonate with me at all. But so I've always been a bit of a joker, cracking jokes. I used to be a DJ. I was a karaoke host in pubs for many years. That was my profession for a while. So I've always been good behind a microphone and presenting, and having jokes and things like that. I've got a sense of humor, and I am genuinely positive. And even though these subjects are quite dark, I've obviously put a comedic spin on it because it's sometimes you just need to laugh at these subjects. Number one. Number two, NASA have been poking fun at us for 60 years now, and it's good to poke the stick back at them for a little bit as well. And it makes the content more appetizing, more it's just easier to watch. A 6-minute music video from me with all the visuals that I put in there is a lot easier to digest than sending somebody 2 hours of Eric Dubay or something like that, and the music has an incredibly good way of seeding itself in your subconscious. Even when you've got Globers around, they might be listening to the CD and walk out of the room singing "Don't Believe in Gravity" because it is that catchy. But yeah, it has to be, in my opinion, for the kind of the guy I am, it has to be funny, it has to be upbeat, it has to be catchy in order to get the message across, almost using their sort of system against them, their kind of music system against them, the catchy, 3-4 minute song with the catchy hook, that's the way I'm delivering my message, and it puts a smile on your face and sows seeds at the same time. And I always refer to my album as a bag of seeds. You give it to someone, let them listen, and just wait and wait and wait until those seeds germinate. And I think, doing it comedically, it's just the kind of guy I am. I mean, I'm not going to be, well, saying that, the song that we're going to be showcasing in the fourth segment is on the flip side. It's not funny. It's a song about chemtrails. It's a very, very serious subject, and I'm not hiding behind a character this time. I'm putting a lot of emotion into it. So it's going to be very interesting to see how that is received. So I've done the comedy thing, and that was a lot of fun doing it. So I'm going to go serious for a little while and see how that resonates with people. But I'm just exploring creatively, and not to say that I won't do any other comedic stuff again, because I am a funny guy and I will continue to do that. But to chuck in a serious song every now and then wouldn't hurt. So we'll see how people resonate with that. But I'm always going to be doing creative stuff because I think that's what I'm here to do. But the fun part of it's a lot of fun to create a character and stand in front of a green screen and point the finger at NASA and call out these bastards. And, it's like being a child again, almost. I mean, I'm almost 50, but standing in front of a green screen and pretending to be floating on the ISS is so much fun. It really is. So, yeah.
Right on. Well, yeah, that's awesome. So we are just about out of time here in the first segment. So let's just wrap up here, and we're going to be heading to commercial here shortly. But as Alex mentioned, you're going to want to stick around because Flat Earth Man, and hopefully you've been exposed to some of his second album, which we're going to talk about tonight as well. But Look Up is the name of the song, and he is going to be debuting it worldwide release in the fourth segment of the show tonight. So definitely stick around for that. All right, Alex, so I know you've got some surprises lined up for the second and third segments as well. So get ready, because we're going to be hearing some more stuff from you that we've never heard before, some acoustic versions of some of your classic stuff. So don't go anywhere, guys. This is Alex Michael is with Paul on the Plane here tonight on Truth Frequency Radio, Globe Live Radio. We'll be back in 3 minutes.
Frequency. Your protection from deception. This is Truth Frequency Radio.
All right, everybody, welcome back to Globe Live Radio here on TFR. Paul and Roxanne with you. Roxanne's got the night off. She's on the Globe Live Euro Tour doing some work there, so we miss you, Roxanne. We'll catch up with you again next week. Our special guest tonight, Alex Michael, a.k.a. Flat Earth Man, known online as Conspiracy Music Guru, and we had a lot of fun in the first segment. The whole band was with us with Flat Earth Man, and we got to hear Don't Believe in Gravity, an acoustic version of it. And Alex has got a lot more special surprises for us tonight. We are going to be going into another acoustic version of one of his songs right now, and then what we're building up to, ladies and gentlemen. You got to stick around to the fourth segment. You're going to be hearing for the first time ever the worldwide release of Look Up, and it's pretty special, and it's serious, and it's a serious topic, obviously, and we're going to be going into that. All right, Alex, are you still there, my brother?
I am indeed, yes. So this next song is an interesting one, because what I did with this song was try to marry both of the styles. One of my normal voice, and I tried to marry it with
the Flat Earth Man voice.
So I created a song where
Flat Earth Man is doing his usual style in the verses,
and then I sing within the chorus, and that was the goal for the song. And the song was Don't Let Them Take Your Mind. I think a lot of people might be familiar with it, and it worked out really well. So me and the guys are going to do it acoustically now. And so I'm going to get ready, because this actually involves me as well as Flat Earth Man. So it's like a bit of schizophrenia going on over here. So it's a little bit weird, but bear with it as we just get set up, and we'll play your song right now, if that's cool with you.
Yeah, and just real quick before you get started, this one you released, was it right before the Denver conference or thereabouts?
Yeah, it was right
Timing-wise?
after the Denver conference. Yeah, because it was the very last song that I did on stage, and no one had ever heard it before. When I played that, they went crazy.
That's right.
It was an amazing experience, so much so that they all got to their feet and they wanted me back for an encore. And then I released it shortly after that, and it's a lot of people's favorite song. It's very different to the other songs on the album, which are more country, and they're more upbeat, and there's a lot of fiddle in there as well. It's the original is quite a stripped back song as it is. So stripping it back even more now acoustically, which we're about to do for you, it's very, very stripped back. So we'll see what you think about it, but it's one of my favorites anyway.
It's awesome. All right. If nothing else, let's get right into it. Can't wait to hear it, my brother.
Hey, boys. Ready?
1, 2, 3. Okay, man. You feel that? Yeah. Y'all know this one, right? Don't let them take your mind. Yeah, I'm breaking it down just for y'all. Global Live Radio with Paul and Roxanne and me. The Flat Earth Man. Well, we all believed in that spinning ball. Indoctrination blinded us all. From the very first day that we went to school, they put a globe in your face and that thing looked cool. The teacher explained how it all worked. Of course it sounded so berserk, but who was I to question it? Because I was just a tiny kid. It sounded crazy as could be, but teacher would never lie to me. She was real nice, she didn't know. She too was taught to believe in that globe. I don't blame her, it wasn't her fault. She was only repeating what she'd been taught. I went through life believing that lie. That spinning ball was now in my mind.
Don't let them take your mind.
Let them take your mind, man.
Don't let them tell you that you will not divine.
Let them do it, man.
Take control of your soul.
Take back control. Yeah.
Find the truth and find it all. Don't believe their lies. Don't let them take your mind.
Yeah, man. So I'm whirling through space on a road to nowhere. So I live my life without a care. Cause I was taught that there ain't no creator. That's what I was told from my educator. So I live my life so selfishly. There ain't gonna be no hell for me. I'll do what I want with no care for others, with no respect for my brothers. Until one day when I woke up and I drank some truth with my coffee cup. I learned that things ain't what they seem. This so-called reality is just a dream. There's deception everywhere that I look. The news, the TV, and in my school books. And pretty soon I realized that everything's just a pack of lies, man.
Don't let them take your mind.
Let them take your mind, man.
Don't let them tell you that you were not divine.
Let them do it, man. Don't
take control of your soul.
Yeah, take back control.
Find the truth and find it all. Don't believe their lies. Don't let them take your mind.
Yeah, don't let them take your mind, man. Okay, listen up. There's deception on a biblical level. It's orchestrated by the devil. Many think that he don't exist, but that's what he wants. That's one of his tricks. But I found out that dude's real, and I tell you, man, that's a bitter pill. So I questioned everything I was told. I had to question that spinning globe. I had to relearn it all again and get some truth inside this brain. And pretty soon I realized that the globe I was taught was a pack of lies. So I studied as hard as could be. I found the flat earth conspiracy. Man, it hit me like a ton of bricks. The globe I was taught was a devil's trick.
Don't let them take your mind.
Don't let them take your mind, man.
Don't let them tell you that you will not divine.
Don't let them do it, man, no.
Take control of your soul.
Take back control.
Find the truth.
Find the truth.
And find it all.
Find it all.
Don't believe their lies.
Believe it.
Don't let them take your mind.
Don't let them take your mind, man. I started to connect the dots, and I'm telling you, man, there are lots. I soon realized that the earth was flat. It's not a belief, man, it's a fact. And once I found out that reality, well, it did a funny thing to me. For a while there, I was pretty shocked, but now I know that there's a God. And once you get to that point of understanding, and once you know there ain't no moon landing, and once you know that space is fake, you view your life with a different take. It ain't just random chance that we're here. We ain't living on no stupid sphere. It ain't some ridiculous spinning ball. The earth is flat, and God created it all.
Don't let them take your mind.
Don't let them take your mind, man.
Don't let them tell you that you will not divine.
Don't let them do it, man, no.
Take control of your soul.
Take back control.
Find the truth.
Find the truth.
And find it all.
Find it all, man. Yeah.
Don't believe their lies.
Don't believe it.
Don't let them take your mind.
Don't let them take your mind, man. Okay. Well, now I found out about all these lies. I live a completely different life. I stopped reading the news and turned off the TV. That thing is evil as can be. I started being a nicer guy. And God forbid I tell a lie. I treat people with more respect, and I've got me a wife that I'd never neglect. Yeah, being good's working out for me. Now I ain't blinded and I can see. I know that there's a God above, and if I'm good, then he'll show me love. I try to live life selflessly to be the best that I can be. I treat people how I want to be treated since my indoctrination was defeated. So don't believe in the devil's lies, because it's God he wants to hide. That's why they teach that spinning ball, to make you think you ain't special at all. Don't believe what you're being told. Don't believe that you're evolved. It's all an accident and you are too. No, you're someone special and God made you.
Don't let them take your mind.
Don't let them take your mind, man.
Don't let them tell you that you will not divine.
Don't let them do it, no.
Take control of your soul.
Take back control.
Find the truth.
Find the truth.
And find it all.
Find it all, man.
Don't believe their lies.
Don't believe it.
Don't let them take your mind.
Don't let them take your mind, man. Here, let me play this guitar. Flat Earth Man in the house. Globe Live Radio. Don't let them take your mind, man.
All right, don't let them take your mind. Yeah, that was
that?
That was. You know what? I remember that now. You debuted that at the end of your gig, and it was such a change from all that other stuff. And like you said, it just blew everybody away. Did anybody else know that was coming, or was that just something that was in your back pocket? You were planning to do the whole time.
Yeah, it was just a surprise. I had two surprises for the conference. One was a release of my video, Space is Fake. They premiered that, I think, on the first day. And on the second night on the gig, I had another surprise, which was a song that nobody had heard before, which was, as I say, the blending of the two voices, the Flat Earth Man and my normal voice as Alex Michael. And it was really well received, which I wasn't expecting, because it's such a weird combination, this like comedic, because a lot of people were saying on my channel, oh, we want to hear the real you, once people realized it was a character, and they'd heard my other song on my channel as well, which was a cover version I did acoustically of a Tracy Chapman song, and they said, why don't you do more like that? And so, to close out the album, I think it was the very last song that I made, I think. And I thought, right, let's try and marry the two and see if they work. Try and get this guy to sing with this guy. It was, but yeah, I put it together, and it was real laid back, real chilled, and a really important message that I think a lot of people can resonate with, because we've all been through that whole process of waking up. It's a song about an awakening, really. And I put it out there, and a lot of people resonated with it, and it's now one of my favourites as well. The more I hear it, it's just and the video is really nice as well. It's just because it all tells a story. It tells my story, really. The whole Flat Earth Man album is my awakening, when I learned about gravity, when I learned about satellites, when I learned about this and the ISS and blah, blah, and the moon, you could see my awakening unfolding from track 1 to track 10. So, and that being one of them. And it was, it's a real joy to do that at the conference. And, people were hugging me at the conference, it's really weird, because when you make music in a small studio that I've got here in Spain, and you don't realize how it resonates with people until you go to a conference like that, and people were coming up and hugging me and saying, I use your music, thank you for what you do, I use your music to educate my kids and things. And then I realized, wow, this is being used, my music's being really used as a tool here to educate, so that really hit me. And it was a hell of a time. It was very, very stressful for me. I don't like performing. The jet lag and the altitude sickness that I all got was there just really changed me, and I was quite ill when I got back. I was quite ill when I was there as well. So, but apart from that, the social aspect of it and seeing how my music resonated with people was amazing for me. I came back thinking, right, I've got to do more of this, because it's hitting people on a level that I never expected.
Yeah, I really wanted to kind of get into the Denver experience for you, and you kind of touched on a couple of things. Finding out after that you weren't feeling so well. I didn't realize it was the altitude sickness, and you kind of pinned it on that. I mean, obviously the jet lag and that sort of thing. Getting your days and nights mixed up, and having to kind of recover and get your biorhythms back in order. But the altitude really affected you, huh?
Well, I think it was a combination of the stress of everything I had to prepare for the conference, because everything you saw on the screens there, including Space's fake video and the Don't Let Them Take Your Mind, all the visuals for that I was preparing before the conference. So I was working very hard before the conference. Add to that the pressure of the gig, which, I could see why these, so-called rock stars or whatever, they turn to a life of drink and drugs, because it's an awful lot of pressure on performers to perform. So add to that, and then you've got the jet lag as well, which really screws up your system. I get anxieties anyway. I suffer with nerves and the altitude sickness. It was like a multi-pronged attack. It was like, but by the time I got home, I was exhausted and I was quite ill. So I sort of vowed never to do that again, and to do my activism more from in the comforts of my own studio, where I feel a lot safer. So yeah, it was an anxious time for me just performing. I think I'd like to go to a conference where there is no pressure to perform, and I'd enjoy it a lot more. But after the gig and then socializing with all the people there, that was just amazing. It's a meeting of the minds, and the social aspect of these conferences is just outstanding. It really is. But it was a big one for me. But I will take away a lot of fond memories from that. A lot of fond memories. So I'll never forget what I did there. And never say never. I might do it again, but we'll see.
Robbie Davidson, the organizer of the conference, likes to give out something for free to all attendees. The first year in Raleigh, his conference in the USA, it was his DVD Scientism Exposed, and then the way it worked out with him inviting you and you agreeing to come and play live and be there for the conference and be the the big musical guest and that sort of thing. And it was the Flat Earth Man album that everybody got a copy of, a hard copy, a CD. It was awesome. I just wanted to ask you, who was the first person that came up to you and wanted an autograph on the to sign the CD? Do you recall who that was?
Wouldn't be you by any chance, would it?
I'd like to think it was, but you tell me. But I was just thinking.
I honestly can't remember, because it was such a whirl, remembering specific details. Like it was an assault on the senses. That's what the conference was for me.
Sure.
Because I got there and people were just running over to me and bombarding me, wanted to have a photo with me, wanted to, and it was, I would never expected that. So it was a real assault on the senses, and it's a bit of a blur, the whole thing, because of that. I do remember signing CDs, and I know you said to me way before the conference, I'm first in line for a signed CD. I remember you saying that. But I'm not sure if you were, literally first in. I honestly can't remember. When did you approach?
Well, I think
after the gig, or?
Well, this is just based on I remember saying that before the conference, and then everybody got a copy of it, and I don't remember exactly when we got it in our hand. I think it was right after your performance is when everybody got a copy of it or what have you, and so I immediately I'd like to think I was the first, because I just went straight up to you and handed you the pen, and you were just done on stage. The lights had come back on, and we were just going to be socializing. And
that's you then. It's you.
You had the guitar out because you wanted everybody to sign the guitar, so you had laid that out on the table and that sort of thing. And it was, right before all that happened. Not to toot my own horn, but I wanted to be, if not the first, or if not the first, but one of the first anyway, that got your autograph on the album. And it's sitting right here on my desk right now. I look at it all the time. It was amazing. It was an absolutely amazing performance to be able to meet you. I know everybody felt the same, like you were saying. You got bombarded with all of these people that wanted to picture and talk to you and just appreciate, like you said, everything that was going on. It must have been, like you said, an assault on the senses. And nervousness aside and that sort of thing, I know you don't look back with regrets because of that social aspect. Being able to connect with all of the people, I'm sure, is something that you'll always kind of hold special, in your heart.
Yeah. They're amazing things, these conferences, no matter what people think. I think they're great for media attention, and the social aspect of it is brilliant. I didn't choose to go to Dallas because I'm very busy at the moment. I don't like traveling and all the other anxiety aspects. I think, I'm much happier at home, as I said, doing my activism that way. But as I said, never say never. I heard that Robbie's stepping down. Did you hear that?
Yeah, he just announced that. As we record this, it's just been a couple of days, but by the time this airs, it'll have been a week. But yeah, he's stepping down. But I don't know what's going to come out between now and when this show actually airs. But I'm working with some other folks as well to make sure that 2020 happens. So there is going to be a conference in 2020 in the States. So more to come on that for sure. And maybe we'll get you out there. We'll just have to see how things happen. But I wanted to talk about the guitar. So you obviously brought a guitar with you, and the whole idea was that you were going to get a lot of people that you met at the conference there to sign it. Tell us a little bit about the strategy there and where that guitar is now.
Well, that guitar is one of my first half decent guitars. I bought it when did I buy it? 2007. I think I bought that guitar. It was like £600. It was like the first half decent guitar I bought, and it's been through so much. It's travelled around all the pubs in Essex and London with me when I used to play in bars and pubs. And then I sanded it all down and sprayed it all black one day to give it a facelift. And then, it's an old battered guitar. But before I took it to Denver, I thought, I'm going to take it to pieces. I'm going to sand it all down. I'm going to paint it all white. And so it's almost like a canvas. And I'm going to get as many of the speakers to sign it as possible. And that's exactly what I did. And I stripped it down and painted it white. It looked really good. It looked really, really nice. And now it's got all the signatures. My buddy Mike says, that's priceless, right? I'm like, well, I mean, it's sitting right here. It's got, I'll have to just grab it a second. There it is. It has got signatures from your good self, Paul. And it says here, you wrote on it, Paul on the plane, because they're faking space. Indeed they are. There's Bob Nodell. There's allegedly Dave, there's Jeronism, there's Rob Skiba, there's Nathan Thompson, there's Rick Hammer, Robbie Davidson, Dave Marsh, Mad Mike Hughes, Flatworth, Patricia Steer, DITR8. They're all on here, man. I could go on.
Well, that's, I'm sure, a special piece, and it is priceless, and to you, probably a sentimental value, because it's obviously probably the main thing you brought back, from Denver and from the entire experience that's going to last forever. And you have it kind of displayed somewhere too, didn't you? I think you shared some pictures on Facebook how it's kind of displayed and that sort of thing. So it's got to be something you look back on with fond memories, whenever you see it.
Absolutely. It hangs on the wall in my studio with pride, takes pride of place. And when I was in Denver, I bought another guitar, which was, I had to clear it with the wife first. Obviously, I said, can I buy a guitar, darling, please? How much can I spend? Because I really want to say to people, I went to America and bought a guitar, Bob was kind enough to take me to a guitar store, and we had a day out. And ended up buying. I thought I have to buy a new guitar because my old one's got a bunch of signatures on it. That was my thinking, and I just really wanted a new guitar because that guitar, though it's been through so much and it holds a lot of sentimental value to me. The playability of it is not the best. As you improve as a guitarist, you want better made guitars so you can grow with that guitar and just get better and better as an artist. So that was my thinking, and I went to a guitar store and bought. So I went to Denver with one guitar, and I came back with two. But nice.
That's awesome. So so you got home from Denver, and I'm assuming you kind of obviously took some time to recover and got well and that sort of thing. But looking back, what was? Can you put your finger and name one thing that was probably the thing you think about the most, or the main highlight of your trip to America, the gig and meeting everybody and just the whole experience?
The highlight for me was, and you'll see this on my channel if you look at a video called FEIC 2018, My Journey, My Perspective, I think I called it. And the highlight was when I looked back, because when you're on the stage there, what you couldn't see was the reaction from the audience, because you was blinded by this spotlight. I could hear what was going on. I could hear everybody cheering, but I couldn't see it. It was only when I really got home and started to review the footage, from people's mobile phones. I put a shout out on Facebook, said, if anybody's got any footage of me from the conference, please send me your footage. I want to put together a video. And I started to see how I came across from people's individual perspective when I had their mobile phone footage, and I saw the crowd and people shouting, one more, Alex, and just going crazy. It was like, when I saw that, I was like, holy crap. That was the best feeling for me, because as a performer, as an artist, a musician, or whatever, you want people to really love your stuff. That's why we do it. We've got a bit of a God complex. We like a comedian wants people to laugh at his jokes. I want people to love my music. Of course I do. And seeing that reaction was like, whoa, 600 flat earthers going crazy for my music because it resonates with them, because they've gone through the same story. So seeing what, the audience reaction, I think, was amazing. And the same in the pub, in the bar, the after party, same there as well. People singing along to my songs that I'd written. Everybody knows the chorus to my song. The whole bar singing, I don't want to talk about NASA. My God, I'll take that with me for the rest of my life. It was amazing.
Yeah.
Just seeing the effect of the music, I think, was the big thing for me.
For sure. Yeah. That's got to be, you're a rock star, when it comes to this community, the truth seeking community.
Oh, stop it.
You are, we look at you like a rock star because, you're so talented, and, but the man behind the music is you guys are all here tonight on Globe Live Radio, just your average guy, and cares about the truth, got some musical talent, and he's putting it for good use. So, that's awesome stuff. All right, Alex, we are at the end of segment number 2. So 1 hour of Globe Live Radio is just about on the books. We have a lot more to come, so stick around, everybody. We have a 3-minute commercial break coming up. When we come back, I know, Alex, you've got another acoustic version of one of your classics that you're going to be playing for us. We're going to be talking a lot about your next album that you just released a few months ago and what that all means. And then we're going to be heading into segment 4. And guys, you're not going to want to miss this. It's going to be the worldwide exclusive release here on Globe Live Radio of your new song, Look Up. So don't you dare go anywhere, guys. We'll be back on the other side of the break. A lot more with Alex, conspiracy music guru, right here on Globe Live Radio.
Spinning ball. Indoctrination blinded us all. From the very first day that we went to school, they put a globe in your face and that thing looked cool. The teacher explained how it all worked. Of course it sounded so berserk, but who was I to question it? Because
you're listening to the Truth Frequency Radio Network.
No hate, no hype, no fear.
Like everyone else, you were born into bondage. Born into a prison that you cannot smell or taste or touch. A prison for your mind. For your mind.
But never fear. TFR is here. Truth Tuesday continues here on Truth Frequency Radio. Hour 2 of this week's installment of Globe Live Radio continues with your hosts, Paul on the Plane and Roxanne, the Globalist Denier.
You must unlearn what you have learned.
Why would any of the ruling class want this information out? They need you in your own mind prison in order to inflict their will on you.
Join us in the chat at tfrlive.com. Or better yet, give us a call at 213-233-3998 and join the conversation as we break down the latest news and continue our coverage of the fastest growing worldwide community of globe deniers. Take it away, Paul and Roxanne.
All right, welcome back to hour number 2, Globe Live Radio here on Truth Frequency Radio, another Truth Tuesday. We are in the midst of a great 2-hour conversation with the man, the myth, the legend, Alex Michael, and conspiracy music guru, as he's known online. Flat Earth Man is his character. And as we mentioned at the start of each of our segments tonight, we're going to be hearing some of the classics from his album, Flat Earth Man. And I thought we'd kick off segment 3 with another one. And I think we're going to go right back to the boys, aren't we, Flat Earth Man?
Indeed we are. So I have to get into character and stir the boys up. We got an upright bass guitar on this one, man. It's almost as big as the man who's playing it. But it's a cool instrument, and we're going to give you a song called No Photographs of Earth. Y'all ready, Paul?
I'm ready as I'll ever be. Everybody ready? Okay, I think we got the go-ahead.
Yep.
yeah! Woo-hoo! Come on, man. Yeah! Woo! Globe Live Radio! Listen up, people. Why the hell can't no one take a photo of this ball, huh? A friend of mine once told me to do a search online. Search for photos of Earth, he said, because this will blow your mind. So I opened up the Google and I looked for photos of Earth. A lot of photos came up, he said. I click on the first. He said, that's the famous blue marble that everybody's seen. We've seen this photo 1,000 times upon our TV screen. But let me tell you something about that famous shot. It's not a photo at all, man. It was made in Photoshop. Cause there ain't no photographs of us. Somebody tell me why. They're all just Photoshop cartoons. They're all just CGI. No photographic proof of a globe. None at all. Why the hell can't no one take a photo of this ball? Well, man, he was right. Cause that did blow my mind. Cause I thought the blue marble was a photo all this time. Don't you think it's strange? He said suspiciously. Well, the fact it ain't a photo seems pretty weird to me. I mean, the most important photo that man could ever take, this huge, iconic image, turns out to be a fake? I couldn't quite believe it, man. I was pretty shocked. I needed further proof that this photo's Photoshopped. He said, look up Robert Simon. He made that cartoon ball. He's the guy you should research. He works for NASA and all. He openly admits that it's all just artistry. He said, and I quote, it's photoshopped, but it has to be. There ain't no photographs of us. Somebody tell me why. They're all just Photoshop cartoons. They're all just CGI. No photographic proof of a globe. None at all. Why the hell can't no one take a photo of this ball? Yep, every photo of the Earth is artist trickery. All the photos on Google, man, are as fake can be. Download all the photos and put them side by side. Compare all the continents, they're each a different size. Compare all the colors, each globe a different shade. If all of these were photos, man, they should surely look the same. Where's the continuity, man? There's none. No, none at all. All that NASA gives us is a bunch of cartoon balls. Cause there ain't no photographs of Earth. Somebody tell me why. They're all just Photoshop cartoons. They're all just CGI. No photographic proof of a globe. None at all. Why the hell can't no one take a photo of this ball? Now we're supposed to have this telescope, right, that's flying past the stars, taking beautiful photographs of Jupiter and Mars. Well, I've got a small suggestion, NASA. Here's something you should do. Point that thing at planet Earth and take a shot or two, because there surely should be thousands of photos of where we live. But Hubble ain't taken one. That's suspicious, don't you think? We got all these fancy pictures of spinning galaxies, but not one single photo of the Earth for us to see. Cause there ain't no photographs of Earth. Somebody tell me why. They're all just Photoshop cartoons. They're all just CGI. No photographic proof of a globe. None at all. Why the hell can't no one take a photo of this ball? No, there ain't no photographs of Earth. Somebody tell me why. They're all just Photoshop cartoons. They're all just CGI. No photographic proof of a globe. None at all. Why the hell can't no one take a photo of this ball?
That's suspicious, don't you think?
Hey, how's that, man?
That was awesome. And like you said, no photographs of Earth? That's suspicious, don't you think?
Indeed it is.
Indeed it is.
Put it down. Sorry, he's just obsessed with that tambourine, man.
Was that Earl?
That was Earl.
That was Earl. Big shout out to Earl on the tambourine. Boy, the acoustic stuff. I don't know. I can't decide if I like the the polished stuff that you recorded for the album or this acoustic stuff. I mean, it's a different flavor or a different obviously a different sound, but it's just as cool as ever. What was it like doing the acoustic stuff? Now, I mean, that's just just the real pure sound of the instruments is just there's something special about it, isn't it?
Completely. The challenge is when you're doing these acoustic songs is that you've got to use instruments that you don't plug in. A piano, an accordion, a harmonica, a percussive set. The voices as well are very important. An acoustic bass. So and you've got to try and fill the whole spectrum of sound from down low at 30 hertz up to 20,000. You've got to fill the sound with acoustic instruments. So that's quite a challenge to make that sound good. But it is a completely different sound. The acoustic. It's like I don't know. It's like kind of I don't want to compare myself, but when Eric Clapton was doing loads of well polished stuff, and then he did this his unplugged thing, and it was like all the songs completely different, or different arrangement, different sound. It's like, oh man, that's the way to go. That's really cool. So I think what I'm probably going to do now that I know that these songs work acoustically is I'm going to release the Flat Earth Man album, the acoustic sessions. Now, obviously doing this for your show, I'm going to be doing this kind of thing on other shows as well. So because, we've done so much preparation, putting an album together of the acoustic sessions is just an obvious one for me to do now.
Wow, how cool. That's going to be great. I think everybody's going to love that as well. And like you were saying, the real sound of an instrument, well, the real sound, but the natural sound, something that's not plugged in, and being able to do that. You're so talented. I mean, what's your favorite instrument to play? You play the guitar, piano, and obviously the percussion, the tambourine, that sort of thing. What do you enjoy the most? Or do you just enjoy the whole process and putting it all together?
All of the above, really. I started playing piano when I was about 4 years old because my father was an organist in a band with his brothers going around all the pubs and the clubs, and there was always a piano in my house. So I was introduced to that at a very early age. And I didn't start playing the guitar till I was 21. So I was a very late bloomer with that. It's just that when I started seeing the guitar, I thought that I could do that because I already had an idea of what chords were, chord progressions, what chord should follow this. And I was pretty good on the piano. So picking up the guitar was the next thing for me. But I love the guitar. The guitar's a cool instrument, and the piano can be, if you play it right. But for me, I think the guitar, that's why I've got one piano. and 9 guitars.
Well, you kind of, your wallet tells you what you spend your money on, tells you what you love, right? And so that's
there you go.
That's probably it. Sounds like your first love, and all the different guitars that you have. Boy, it'd be really cool. Maybe if you did a live stream, it just kind of came to mind when hearing that you have 9 guitars. Really cool to see a live stream one time where you kind of walked around your studio there and talked about each of the guitars and the story behind them and what they've been used for and that sort of thing. Somebody can really start appreciating all the work that you do. That would be really cool to learn about. And I think anybody that plays the guitar, or whether they make music or not, whether they produce and monetize music or not, but just would appreciate all of those efforts that you've put in. That would be something kind of cool to do sometime.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I've not thought about that. I think every guitar, I suppose, tells a story. My piano tells a story. I dabble a little bit in harmonica, and I've got an electronic drum kit behind me here. I play a bit of that. I just try and, when you can play, I can play a bit of bass. Once you can play a bit of bass and a bit of harmonica and a bit of guitar and a bit of piano and sing, and I think if anybody was to label me talented, I would say the talent is in my ears. I can hear what other people can't hear, if that kind of makes sense. And I know when something sounds good.
Yeah.
So if I can play a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and I can just combine it all together into one song, and it's just one guy playing all the instruments and getting the production side of it as well. I think it's just having a good ear and knowing what sounds good, and add to that some truth of lyrics. You've got a really nice bunch of ingredients there.
Yeah, you've definitely put it all together. And for those of us that don't have any musical talent, I think a lot of it is that ear. I don't have that ear, it's only when it's all put together does something resonate, but you were able to pick stuff out and know what sounds good, you know what to listen for, and then be able to put that together and is just a special talent, a God-given talent. So we definitely appreciate that. Well, let's talk about kind of your body of work when it comes to the truth community. Obviously your first album, as many people know, Flat Earth Man and all the songs there. And, obviously you kind of talked a little bit about that already, how that came about and your awakening and, wanting to put, a little bit of humor, a little bit of fun behind something that can be very dark and dreary, and it obviously worked. And then we talked about in the second segment when we got to hear your song, Don't Let Them Take Your Mind. And that was kind of a little bit of a different, from the other tracks on the album, but where that came from. And just to remind everybody, what we're building up to here in the fourth segment of tonight's show, after this next break, Alex is going to be releasing his brand new song, worldwide release of Look Up. And we're going to be talking a little bit about that, obviously, when we come back from the break and build that up, and then you're going to be playing it. But I wanted to, before we get to that fourth segment tonight, kind of transition a little bit, because we haven't really talked about it yet. So after Flat Earth Man was released and you did the Denver gig and all of that, and you came back, you recovered from your trip, you set out creating some different music. And your second album is drastically different from the first. Talk a little bit about that. How did that come about? And tell people what that is, because that's you even said on Facebook, I think you said that album has sold even more than the first album, right? It's really resonating with people. So talk a little bit about your second album. What is it called, and what is it all about?
Well, you're right. It's drastically different from the first album. It's called True Solfeggio by Conspiracy Music Guru. Now, during my awakening process, I came across the research sort of, I don't know how I came across it really, but there's a conspiracy out there called the 440 hertz versus the 432 hertz. I don't want to go into it too deeply here because we haven't got the time, but know that our music used to be tuned to 432 hertz for a very long time. In 1955, it was changed to 440 hertz. What that means is the middle A on a keyboard used to be tuned to 432 hertz, and every other key around that would develop. It starts from that very root frequency. Well, they changed that root frequency in 1955. The International Standards Organization decided that they wanted to change it for some reason. Now, me being conspiratorially minded, started digging into the research of that, and it seems that cymatically, the 432 hertz frequency produces more coherent patterns when you're looking at it cymatically, and the 440 hertz less so. And it is said that the 440 hertz frequency is a stressful frequency and not at all beneficial to a human, if you like. I don't, so if you look at the cymatics, I mean, what's happening on a biological level, on a cellular level, what's happening with that frequency. So it's a deep subject, and I encourage people to do their own research on it. Just know that the frequency of our music was changed, and do your own research. But when I learned about that, it led me to a bunch of frequencies called the Solfeggio healing frequencies, which are said to be healing frequencies that the ancients knew about. And I did a little bit of research into that and found the true Solfeggio frequencies. There's a lot of disinformation out there when it comes to healing frequencies, and I believe I found the true Solfeggio healing frequencies, which is why the album is called True Solfeggio. And I set about making a bunch of guitar instrumental tracks, and based around these Solfeggio healing frequencies. And when I started making the music, it was clear that there was something to these frequencies. I often got very emotional making the music, or I would have goosebumps every time I played a certain riff on the guitar, and it was like, and so I just did my own experiment to see if what I was researching was real. And I put a bunch of really, beautifully crafted, I think, guitar instrumentals into, some songs and put it on an album, put it out there. And I sent it to a bunch of people, and they was like, wow. This music does things to me. I feel more focused. I was overcome with emotion, or I burst into tears. I had a reaction today. One girl, it triggered something in her that she could not stop laughing. It's like it cleared a blockage in her. And I'm getting all of this feedback on my Facebook page and my YouTube channel. Wow, wow, wow! I got goosebumps. This is amazing. So that was my scientific experiment. I put it out there, and people are just going. So it's just confirmation to me that this frequency that I'm recording in, and these Solfeggio frequencies, are doing something, maybe spiritually or on a cellular level. I don't know. All I can tell you is my experience when I've made that music, and other people's feedback now that I've put it out there. So I definitely think there's something to the 432 hertz frequency and the Solfeggio healing frequencies. And I would encourage people to look into that, because I think music is not what you think it is. But so that's how the album came about, and it is a chasm apart from Flat Earth Man, but it just goes to show, a different side to me. It's another awakening album, like the Flat Earth Man album was. The Solfeggio Healing Frequencies album is also, a product of my research into that area, and it's, pardon the pun, resonating with a lot of people.
Would you, based on your research, would you go as far as to say that the 440 hertz is even detrimental at the cellular level to us?
Completely. I would. That is my belief. I'm looking at it from a cymatic point of view, and from my conspiratorial mindset that everything we know is a lie. They have manipulated everything: our information, our air, our water, our food. Do you think they would let you have the music? Do you think they would not manipulate the music? Of course they would. That's one of the things we all love and enjoy. It's probably going to be the first thing they target. So, because I have a conspiratorial mindset and I know what's going on in the world, I know that music is being attacked as well, let alone the other things they're doing to it by condensing it in the form of convenience, as well as, the ridiculous music that's coming out from mainstream as well. So I would suggest that all of these things is a multi-pronged attack on our music. So I would definitely suggest that the change from 432 hertz to 440 hertz is not a good one.
Yeah, well, I believe it was Tesla that said, everything is about sound and vibration and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
When it comes to
it's funny. Sorry to step on you there, but it's funny you say that, because that quote I put in the inlay of the CD. So when you open the True Solfeggio CD, you will see that quote from Tesla saying, if you want to understand the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. So that's interesting you said that.
Yeah, and that's what came to my mind when I started learning about, that there's a difference, both from a physical, probably from a spiritual, mental, and physical nature, that the hertz, the frequency is going to affect us. So I find it just extremely amazing that the difference between 440 and 432, just those 8 hertz, if you will, makes that big of a difference. What did your research show why the 432 hertz was, just the opposite? It wasn't detrimental. It was actually beneficial, actually healing and I'm referring to the bit you put together for my podcast, domelifepodcast.com. I'm going to listen to Mitch and I every week. But I have a bit on there that plays every week where you talk to Bob about Bob Nodell from Globebusters about this, and then he listened to it, and his wife Cammie, and there was actually healing frequencies that are coming from that music, and based on your research, what did you find? Why is that, or maybe? I don't know why. That's the question we always ask, why, and we don't know always the why. But there was something to those specific frequency that actually is beneficial to the human mind, body, and spirit.
Yeah, I mean, how do I prove that? How do I go about proving that? I mean, I don't have cymatic equipment. I mean, how else could you prove that? The only way you could really get some feedback is by doing what I've done, by making the album and putting it out there. That's my, my observation. It's observable, it's testable, and it's repeatable. That's science, right? I've put it out there, and just gauging the feedback. Strangers telling me that they felt something from the music that they'd never felt from other music. This is my scientific experiment. So I can't go deep into it, and see what is happening on a. I mean, I wish I had the budget to buy a bunch of machines that you can blend frequencies and point, like what's his name, Hutchison did the Hutchison effect. He had the ex-military equipment, and he was firing frequencies at stuff and making it all blend into each other, and it's amazing what frequencies can do. But I don't know, I lost my train of thought there. Where was I?
Well, obviously the proof is the feedback that you got. Like you said, you put the stuff out there, and people came back and they were emotionally affected by this, both at the physical and spiritual, mental, whatever, all these different, frames of reference, whatever. People came back to you and said, dude, there's something healing about that music, and the way obviously you tuned it to that frequency, and then combining with your musical talent and, the guitar and that sort of thing. It just shows, I think, the range of your talent as well. Going from, you listen to Flat Earth Man, and then you go, oh, he's got another album. You turn it on, you hit play, and you're like, whoa, what is this?
Exactly. I wasn't expecting that kind of vibe. Yeah. I guess it's me, trying to reinvent myself or something like that. I mean, I'm not going to stick to a genre or stick to a style. I mean, I've got to explore. I've got to expand and, creatively. And, I couldn't tell you what my next album will be. I have a feeling it's going to be about, wider conspiracies, but I don't know. It's just whatever inspires me. You don't plan creativity. It kind of just happens depending on what you're looking at the time.
Yeah, for sure. So, we all got to know you around your Flat Earth Man album, and all of the fun and the music videos. If anybody's listening that hasn't seen any of the music videos that you put together, not only you're a talented musician, but you're producing the music video that goes along with it, and that just really that brought it all together. And I think that was the first time I got exposed to your work, was not hearing just the song, but I got to see the music video. So I got to hear the music and see all the visuals and your green screen and all the fun that you have there in producing that. That was our first exposure to you, and it's so much fun. And then you like, okay, this is what I'm feeling. This is where my research has taken me. This is just where my creativity is coming from. Like you said, this whole awakening is a burst of creativity, and we see that in so many different mediums. We see music, we see poetry, we see art. All these different things that this specific topic brings out in people. There's nothing like it. I mean, how many people, learned about 9/11, learned about the truth, and then decided to want to make albums about it, just wanted to write poetry and make music about, the conspiracy of 9/11. No, but with this topic, the shape of the world, when you wake up to that, it does something special in people, and you're, I think, a classic example of that. We've only got about 2 minutes left in this segment, but maybe you can respond to that.
Yeah, I mean, my plan is to approach the wider conspiracies musically. I want to do that because I hope that when people hear my chemtrail song, or a song about 9/11 or Antarctica or whatever, because there are bigger groups of people that study that stuff. Hopefully they'll look at that and go, that's a great song. What's his other work? What's he done previously? And that will then hopefully lead them to the Flat Earth Man album, which is my cunning plan to get people to the Flat Earth subject.
Oh, you're beginning with the end in mind. Man, see? I love the strategy. I think that's great. And that's what we're going to be starting to explore, it sounds like, with you with what's coming up next. So we've only got about a little bit more than a minute left in this segment here. So let me just remind people that if you come with us this far, you definitely got to stick around for the fourth segment, because it is almost time for the big reveal, and that is Alex Michael, conspiracy music guru, has a song called Look Up, and it's based on chemtrails, and we're going to talk about that, but it's going to be the worldwide release, and it's coming up right after the next commercial break. So just to recap, again, our guest tonight, Alex Michael, conspiracy music guru on YouTube. If you haven't seen his music videos, you got to go to his YouTube channel, and we'll obviously have it in the show notes for this episode. Go to his channel, check out all of the great music videos that he's put together. I mean, the one that you did, I don't want to talk about NASA. With all the, because you obviously you filmed yourself a bunch of times, and all the guys in the bar and that sort of thing. That's probably my favorite, just visually, how much fun you had with that one. But I encourage everybody to go check that out. But you got that album, and we're going to talk about in the fourth segment as well how people can get a hold of your music. Where can they go and get the album and listen to the songs and previews, and obviously get the music and Look Up and all that. We'll talk about that in the fourth segment. So, but don't go anywhere, guys. We are right on the cusp of the big release. Look Up is coming up in the next segment here on Globe Light Radio. This is Paul on the Plane. Roxanne has a night off. She is with the Globe Light Euro Tour, so we obviously miss her. We'll catch up with her next week. But Alex, we got one more segment to go, and it's going to be the biggest one yet. So guys, don't go anywhere. We will be back in 3 minutes. A lot more with Alex Michael, and Look Up, the new song, is coming up next. Stay tuned.
Met a man the other day who thought the earth was flat. I said, man, you must be crazy. Where the hell is your tinfoil hat? But he spoke with such conviction, and he believed the words he spoke. And something deep inside me knew this couldn't be a joke. But why would he believe this? And why believe such things? Because everybody knows the earth.
You are now tuned into the truth frequency.
Your protection from deception. This is Truth Frequency Radio.
Welcome back to Globe Light Radio here on another Truth Tuesday, or Wednesday if you're in other parts of the plane. Welcome back to the show. Paul on the Plane with you, Globe Light Radio here on TFR. Roxanne is not with us tonight, but our special guest, Alex Michael, the conspiracy music guru. We've been chatting a lot about his music and had some special tracks that you've heard for the first time. Three of his classics from the Flat Earth Man album, and the acoustic versions of those. But we've saved the best for last. That's right. We're going to be playing here shortly. It can be the first time that anybody's heard this. It's called Look Up, and it's from, it's the latest from the conspiracy music guru himself. And so obviously Look Up has to do with looking up to see chemtrails. So Alex, this is the hot new thing. This is what you're going to be working on. It sounds like going forward, the other conspiracies, the whys, and that sort of thing. So maybe kind of set this up for us a little bit. Why chemtrails?
It's a hot topic, isn't it? It's a hot topic. It's a conspiracy that I wanted to sing. I get a lot of requests as well for sing about this, sing about this, sing about this, sing about this, and I got the chemtrail request quite a lot, and I thought, yeah, it is very important. because people are not looking up. That's the problem. Most people don't care. And there's so much in the lyrics of this song that talks about people not looking up, that, they're too busy looking down at your phones is the point of the song. People just look up and start questioning what this crap that's being sprayed on everything. And I wanted to raise awareness as well. So, the requests, and I wanted to raise awareness. It's a good topic. It's a wide, more people know about chemtrails than they do flat Earth. And as I said previously in the previous segment, I want to, reach a wider audience with my music. Chemtrails has got a wider audience, I believe, than flat Earth. But I'm hoping, but by approaching these subjects, that people will then start to look at my back catalogue and start to say, oh, he's done songs on gravity. This guy knows what he's talking about when it comes to chemtrails. So he's got a song about gravity, the ISS, the puppet. What's this puppet show? So I'm hoping, that's a way to lead people into my earlier work, which of course is, is the most important, where we live. So, there's a bunch of reasons as to why I wanted to do this song. And I also wanted to fall out of the character as well. And I wanted to do something of myself, the real me, putting myself out there with my normal voice. There's something serious, a change of direction musically again. It's probably a chasm away from what I've done with True Solfeggio and the Flat Earth Man. I'm evolving as an artist, and the Chemtrails is a good starting point to sing something emotional as myself. And with this song, I broke it right down. I think there's only 3 instruments in it. It's an acoustic guitar, it's an accordion, I believe a bass. I think there might be a tiny bit of percussion in there. But it's amazing how you can get more emotion out of less instruments when you're talking about a very serious subject like chemtrails. But so there's a bunch of reasons why it came about. But but here it is. I don't know if you want to go into it now.
Yeah, I think we should definitely do that. So, ladies and gentlemen, worldwide release of Look Up. Please, by all means, Alex, hit it.
Here we go.
This song is dedicated to all the chemtrail pilots, of which my old friend was one. Hello, old friend, how long has it been? I don't think I've seen you since we were 16. Tell me, how are you? Oh, how the time flies. I heard you're a pilot now cruising the skies. It was your destiny, it was your dream. We used to play airplanes when we were 16. Tell me about all the things that you've seen in your wonderful world, in your flying machine. And he said, well, flying those planes ain't as great as it sounds. I have a story that's sure to astound. There's something quite evil that happens up there, and most of the people are so unaware. You see, I was ordered to fly and to spew a hazy white cocktail, a chemical brew. Have you ever wondered why skies are so grey? And gone are the blue skies from back in the day. Look up to the sky and ask your government why they're spraying their chemicals over your head. It's almost as though they want everyone dead. Look up, look up, look up. Look up to the sky above. The air that you breathe has been compromised. Please look up, look up, look up. Most people, they see those little white lines, assume that it's normal, assume they're benign. But nothing could be much more further from truth. Those lingering chemtrails are poisoning you. They poison the ground and they block out the sun. A chemical warfare against everyone. A toxic geoengineering
killing campaign. Do you know of anything more inhumane? Aluminum, barium, strontium too. Ingredients found in their chemical brew. The crops getting drenched with a poisonous rain. With metals so heavy they clog up your brain, causing diseases, it's so sad to mention. Neurological problems, Alzheimer's, dementia. And people get sicker and sicker. The haze in the sky just gets thicker and thicker. A dastardly crime against humanity. Big Pharma are rubbing their hands gleefully, 'cause the more that they spray, then the worse for your health. The more that they spray, then the more is their wealth. But you're all looking down and you're all unaware. Far too distracted, too busy to care. But I'll blow my whistle and shout in the street until all the people just look up and see. Look up to the sky and ask your government why they're spraying their chemicals over your head. It's almost as though they want everyone dead. Look up, look up, look up. Look up to the sky above. The air that you breathe has been compromised. Please look up, look up, look up.
Well, that was the last time I saw my old friend. A tragedy happened I can't comprehend. He took his own life, or so it was said. Apparently shot himself twice in the head. My old friend was silenced for telling his tales of flying machines spewing toxic chemtrails. But his story remains about what those planes spray. And when I look in the sky, I can still hear him say,
look up to the sky and ask your government why they're spraying their chemicals over your head. It's almost as though they want everyone dead. Look up, look up, look up. Look up to the sky above. The air that you breathe has been compromised. Please look up, look up, look up.
Look Up by the Conspiracy Music Guru. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Alex, that was emotional. That was really emotional.
I every time I haven't heard that in a while. I finished making that a couple of weeks ago, and I haven't heard it in a couple of weeks. And listening to it back now, I've got got tears in my eyes. It's hold on 1 second.
Take your time. I'll just say, really getting to hear it in its entirety there. That's the real. That's the real McCoy. That's the real you coming out. I don't know what you experienced there, above your house in Spain. Obviously, what you've observed is probably what many people have. Look up, because
go ahead. Yeah, sorry about that. It's such an emotional subject, that people are just too busy looking at social media and playing games on their phones that they don't really know that they're being poisoned. And I think now we know why I wrote this song. It's very personal to me. That's all. Okay, pull yourself together, man.
No worries, my friend. In hearing that, I spent a lot of time in Ireland, and this sounds like it's got a little bit of an Irish theme to it, doesn't it?
Yeah, completely. When you write a song like that, well, my approach is I have to, sort of revisit the subject a little bit in order to, start writing the lyrics. So I was watching Frankenskies, which is a great piece, and I urge a lot of people to go and watch that. And as I was watching that, there was somebody holding a sign doing some street activism, and it said "Look Up." I was like, oh, that's a great title for a song, "Look Up." So I started to write the chorus, which is usually where I start, because the chorus is the most important thing, because that's what everybody remembers. So I wanted to have the look up in the chorus. That's why it says "look up" so many times in the chorus. So when I started, here's my guitar here. When I started writing "Look Up," look up to the sky and ask your government why. That just kind of came out, look up to the sky and ask your government why. They're spraying their chemicals over your head. It's almost as though they want everyone dead, and it, that chorus just kind of came out, and I thought that's really catchy. And it was very Irish, it was very folky. And because I write everything on an acoustic guitar, I thought, right, that sounds very folky. The chords are very folky. What would go with that? An accordion. And, just keep it low key. It almost reminds me of two guys or three guys in an Irish bar playing a song, with, it's got that emotion. Irish folk music, I've learnt recently that it's a really good medium to tell a story. And as you've heard, so you might hear a little bit more of that coming from me, because it resonates with me. That stripped back acoustic sound I kind of like. But, I think that works for me, that song. There's enough lyrics in there, hopefully, to get people to question and to hopefully start looking up.
I'm probably not the first, but I want to be one of the first to congratulate you on just another instant classic. I think as people more and more hear this, it's going to resonate with everybody around the world, because we all experience these poisons at some level, and it's a very real part of our world. So congratulations on another amazing track that you've created here, and I want to make sure that we've only got about 10 minutes left in the show, and it's been this may be my favorite show ever that I've done, because it's just we've got a roller coaster of emotions here. We've had a lot of fun, we've had some serious stuff. We learned you get some technical side, and we're talking about the hurts and the music and that sort of thing, and it's been a roller coaster ride of emotions, but we're going to end it. Yeah, I want to end it on a positive note. This song is very serious, it's very real, and that sort of thing, and maybe kind of giving folks an understanding of what's coming up next with your, the next chapter, if you will. We're kind of on this ride with you. You're being very public about your awakening and coming out through your music, and you're telling your stories. But let's talk about real quick, how can people obviously get a hold of this brand new music? Let's make sure we get that out there, because it's available now. People can go, and I know you've got a little bit of a preview that you're going to be putting on your YouTube channel with some visuals for it, because you're so good at creating visuals at the same time. So people can be looking for that. But where can people go right now and purchase this song?
Yeah, just remember 3 words, and that is Conspiracy Music Guru. If you type that into iTunes, you'll find the single, you'll find my albums. If you type it into Amazon or Google Play or the Google, or if you type it into CD Baby, or if you type it into YouTube, you'll find me. It depends on where you prefer to purchase your music from. But just Conspiracy Music Guru, and you'll find me.
You are everywhere online for sure. And I'm going to make this a call out to everybody. You need to buy this song. We as a community especially, we need to support what we love, or it goes away. And this is Alex's ministry. Obviously, he's right where God wants him to be. He's so talented musically, and the music that he produces. For those of you that maybe hadn't been exposed prior to his work and his musical talents. You've got I think a big taste of it here. Go out and purchase all the stuff. You need to get a hold of both of his albums. You need to get this new song. We need to support what we love or it goes away. So please show your support to Alex, get the music, and share it with people because they need to be aware of this stuff too. And I love the strategy. I'm really getting an understanding of your strategy here now. You're going to be diving into some of these other, maybe more mainstream, if you will, conspiracies. And that's the road you're taking, and people are going to fall in love with this stuff. They love the sound, they love the music, they love you, and what you stand for. And they're going to start exploring your back catalog, like you said, and they're going to come across Flat Earth Man. And this music might be a journey where people can go on with you. And what do they call? What does David Weiss call it? The stairs of the
stairway of disbelief.
The stairway of disbelief. So you're kind of taking them on a journey. They're going to be exploring this other stuff. They're going to be learning about chemtrails and start looking up and that sort of thing. And they're going to find out that there's even some other big lies out there as well, like the shape of the world.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I can't believe you cried on air, you pussy.
Shut up. You get out of here, man.
Was that Earl again?
No, that was Flat Earth Man.
Oh, that was Flat Earth Man. Oh, sorry. I guess I never heard. I never heard Flat Earl. What he sounds like, but yeah, Flat Earth Man. You know what? He'll get it. He'll get it eventually. He'll get it. Well, this has been a lot of fun, Alex. We've still got a little bit of time left, and I want to encourage everybody to head out there and obviously get a hold of this music, buy the track, and enjoy it, and encourage other people to do the same, because this is very important stuff. And we've had some laughs tonight. We've enjoyed obviously you being in character and out of character and just being you. And this song is obviously a reflection of that. Is there any sort of, I'll put you on the spot here, is there any sort of hints that you can give us about potentially what you're working on, or anything you can tease so that people are what to be looking forward to in 2020 from the conspiracy music guru?
Well, I think I hinted at it earlier that making these acoustic track and with the acoustic band, these songs sounds great. It's a completely different vibe. I've done a bunch of these acoustic arrangements now, and they sound great. So that's my immediate project of releasing the Flat Earth Man album in a slightly different acoustic unplugged style. I'm due to finish that in probably the next 2 weeks. Moving on into 2020, I'll see how this serious song "Look Up" goes down. I've got a feeling that it's going to resonate on a level that I'm not expecting. And it will probably push me to do more of that kind of stuff. I mean, I just don't know. It's how the mood takes me. It's where the research takes me as well. But I have a plan. I think I'm going to, as I said before, I'm going to approach these bigger subjects and bring people to my earlier work. But all I can say is that I found a purpose musically, and I want to do this. This is my calling. So 2020. I think there'll be a lot more of the same, and I'm always striving to improve myself. So I just want to get better and better and better. Wow. And I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing.
Well, we're just so appreciative that you allow us to be on this journey with you. And I know you like making music, obviously, and being willing to put that out there. And obviously you face, what a lot of us do face, and, the criticisms and the insults and things like that, because, you're talking about some things that rub people the wrong way, that don't, I won't say necessarily that they don't like the truth, but it's very inconvenient for them. They don't want to go there. But this stuff, music is a way that's going to resonate with people. If like you said, if you come across there's a 2-hour video from Eric Dubé and the 200 Proofs, that's something that people might not want to explore. But like you said, 4, 5, 6, 7 minute song, especially with some cool visuals, and that could resonate with people in a different way that otherwise a documentary or some other form, medium that's talking about the truth would. So just thank you so much again for bringing us along on this journey.
No, thank you.
It's been absolutely awesome. And the studio there, that's something I know you've been working on for a while, and we've got a couple minutes left. I'd love to learn more about just the studio. Obviously you have a big green screen there, you've got all the instruments and that sort of thing. Do you spend probably 20 hours a day in that studio? I mean, that's got to be where you are in your domain, what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. It's my wife, bless her. She keeps me on track because if I spend too much time in the studio and too much time in front of a screen, I don't believe human beings are designed to sit in front of computer screens for 8 hours a day. So she knows when I'm in a creative mode and I just don't want to leave the studio. So she said to me today, make sure you're out the studio by 2:00. We're going to go for a dog walk. We're going to have a leg stretch. We're going to go out for lunch. So just chill out before you go for the interview. But I get obsessed. I absolutely love it in here. It's where I get most creative, and sometimes I just forget time. I forget to eat. I forget to because this is just, I'm in the zone. When I'm in the creative zone, there's no place I'd rather be.
Well, and many thanks to your wife as well. We know behind the Flat Earth man, there's a Flat Earth woman that is supporting you and helping take care of you, and we appreciate her as well, for sure.
Absolutely.
Please pass along our gratitude.
Thank you for saying that. It's absolutely true. She's my rock. This wouldn't happen without her. She keeps me going. She's amazing.
That's right. Well, thank you so much, Alex, for being willing to spend some time with us and sharing the music with us and giving the Global Eye Radio here the exclusive. So look up, available now, Amazon Music, iTunes, your website, right? conspiracymusicguru.com is going to have details as well. And if you have not seen some of the visuals and the YouTube videos that he's done from his previous work as well, please head over and check it out on YouTube at Conspiracy Music Guru. And you've got another big show coming up. I heard that Crow 777 got a hold of you.
Yeah, that was out of the blue. I don't know how he found my work, but he found me and he called me on Skype, and we had a long conversation. He was like, "Man, you're killing it, man. I love," in his voice. I don't know. I wish I could do his voice, but he was. He said to me that he binge watched all my stuff and he absolutely loved it. And I'm doing an interview with him and Jason tomorrow night, and I can't wait. It's
awesome.
It's going to take my music to another audience, which is exactly what we want.
That's awesome. All right. Well, we are going to wrap up here. The next or the latest edition here of Global Eye Radio is just about in the books. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us here on Truth Frequency Radio. I hope you had as much fun as I did in working with Alex on this show. And like I said, go out there, support what you love, or it's going to go away. So purchase these albums and enjoy them, and stay tuned because there's a lot more from Alex we're going to see, I believe, here in 2020. And it sounds like you're going to have an acoustic album out for us soon as well, so people can follow along with that and check that out soon. So, Alex, thank you so much again.
Hey, thanks for having me on, man. It's been an honor.
You bet. All right, guys. Thank you again for listening to the show. A couple of news and notes I'll pass along. Don't forget that the Global Eye Euro Tour continues. Please, as you feel led, to contribute financially to keep the tour going. I know they're planning to go into next month as well and going up into Scandinavia. So please stay tuned and follow along with Roxanne and Jason Disbury. Those continue. I know Alex just got a chance to hang out with the team a little bit recently, which was awesome to see as they were in Spain. So please continue to support the tour and follow along. And again, as you feel led, every little dollar or quid or euro, whatever you can spare, definitely helps out to keep the truth being spread across the continent. And let's see, it's Thanksgiving week here in the States, so a lot of people are off and going to be spending time with their families. So obviously, we wish you all the best, and thank you, the listener, for being a part of this show every week. We certainly appreciate it. I'm thankful for you, and I'm very thankful for this platform, for Chris and Sri Gio and Truth Frequency Radio, where they allow us to. They don't censor us. We are allowed to speak on any subject we want. And that is certainly something to be thankful for in this day and age. All right, everybody, good night. Thank you so much for listening. This has been Global Eye Radio with Paul and Roxanne, and we'll look forward to seeing you guys and talking to you guys again very soon. Good night.
Thank you for listening to Global Eye Radio with Paul and Roxanne. Please visit TFRlive.com to listen to past episodes and consider becoming a full-time supporter of TFR by purchasing an all-access pass and join the cause to keep TFR uncensored and online. If you are new to this subject, please visit stoplookthink.com to learn more. Global Eye Radio is a Paul on the Plane production.